Anyway, the Washington Compost, I just told you about this 11th hour move this evening by the Obama administration to cancel till 2015 a core aspect of Obamacare, that is the requirement that businesses of over 50 employees provide health care for those employees of the kind that the government writes, or else pay a penalty. And I've known a number of these business folks. They're not big business people. I mean, they may have a couple of dry cleaners, a couple of restaurants, something like that, a couple of gas stations, and you hit 50 employees quite quickly. And they were talking about these massive expenses they're going to have to pay for. One friend of mine, she has is invested in 4 restaurants, and she runs 1 or 2 of them herself. And it's hard work. And she does not make a fortune. She said her accountant estimated the cost at $600,000. Something was going to have to give, either firing employees, making them part-time, closing one of the restaurants, something. And this was going to happen all over the country right before the midterm elections, when the Democrats want to take back the House and they want to hold on to the Senate. And all of a sudden this evening, the Obama administration said, no, we'll put that off to 2015. To get through the midterm elections. And I just heard ABC News in their second segment reporting on the delay, and somehow they didn't report on the fact that the timing is intended to help the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party does not want you to hold it accountable during the election cycle, folks. Obama didn't want to be held accountable, so he pushed off a lot of this till after the presidential election. He doesn't want Congress, the Democrats in Congress, to be accountable, so they're pushing that off. I want to give you an example. Yesterday, in the Washington Compost, a fellow by the name of Ed Rogers, he wrote this piece. This is very important, what he's saying here. He said, I don't know if members of Congress will be hearing about it in town hall gatherings and other meetings back home over the 4th of July recess, but the rolling thunder of the approaching Obamacare train can be heard in the distance. Smart Democrats are beginning to get frantic about the need to suppress the confusion and hide the cost of Obamacare between now and the 2014 midterm elections. Little did he know Obama would step in and push it to 2015. So this was their great fear, what this man has written about. He said, we're just 3 months away from the October 1st enrollment start date, and so far, nothing about the Obamacare implementation process should be politically encouraging for Democrats. In fact, the more people learn about Obamacare, the more frightened they've become. Right now, small businesses across America are making the final determinations on how to reduce the working hours of their employees so fewer employees qualify for the mandated employer-provided health insurance. Employers are also deciding whether it makes more economic sense to pay a fine to the government or pay for health care benefits for their employees. Now, what this means is that hundreds of thousands and perhaps even millions of Americans will learn that they're being dismissed from their employer's health care coverage. Their health care pink slips will start raining down in late summer and early fall. This will push people into the health care exchanges where in some cases people will be writing health insurance checks for the first time. And in many cases, people will be facing increased health insurance costs, particularly if they're young and healthy. The negative effects on personal income and the overall economy will be undeniable. Sometime next year before the elections, the penalties associated with not having or providing health insurance will begin to pour in. Will the fines come in the mail? Will you be able to appeal? What happens if someone doesn't pay? No one knows. Or no one who knows is talking. The consequences of Obamacare are being hidden. And so today, this article was on July 1st. Today's July 2nd, the real Independence Day. And what happens? Obama's in Africa, and his administration today quietly orders the delay of the implementation of everything this Ed Rogers is writing about in the Washington Compost to get them past the midterm elections. That's how grotesquely cynical this president is. Today's Wall Street Journal, that would be yesterday, in an article, Health Insurance Costs Set for a Jolt, hints at the debacle that's to come. At some point soon, it's going to be undeniable that Obamacare is nothing but another federal entitlement where those who are young and healthy bear the direct cost of subsidizing those who are not. In midterm elections, those who vote tend to be more engaged voters. In other words, these voters will notice if they have health insurance that is more expensive but offers less coverage than what they've had before Obamacare. Some of the Democratic reactions will be predictable, blaming Bush and blaming Republicans, or for a while denying the obvious. But that won't work forever. One of the worst sins you can commit in politics is to say something that's different what people can see for themselves. There's no chance that Obamacare will perform as promised, and when it does not, voters will be looking for relief, meaning throwing the Democrats out. And so what did Obama do today for the 100th time? Just to make it as clear as I humanly possibly can, he put it off to 2015. This law was written to protect Democrats from their own design. This law was written first to get Obama through the election. Now he's through the election. Now they're saying, wait a minute, we got to win one more midterm election to seal our pursuit, the fundamental transformation of America. One more big election, one more takeover, and they'll never be able to reverse course. So put this aside till 2015. Put it aside. I feel like we're living, folks, in a dictatorship. I really do. The President of the United States, here we have an Obamacare law, and he just decides what's going to be implemented when to the benefit of him and his party. Didn't we just see this in Venezuela? Do you think you live in a constitutional republic? You don't. You really don't. We're going through the motions now. Some aspects of the Constitution have survived, but so much of it has been rewritten or completely ignored. The progressives have won. Over 100 years ago they started, and now we have these big government statists all over the federal government, throughout the federal bureaucracy, dictating to us, ignoring what laws they don't like, altering what laws they don't like, implementing those laws they do like, putting off dates of implementation, changing the laws, doing whatever they want. This is absolute lawlessness. And so this fella, Ed Rogers, at the Washington Compost, got it exactly right. Obamacare was a huge Achilles heel for the Democrats in this upcoming election. And they just pushed it off to the next year. You'll suffer after the election once we're ensconced. Meanwhile, the Republicans still aren't running on this, despite my admonishments over the last several months and including yesterday, which I played for you in the first hour. The American people hate this. This Obamacare is everything that's wrong with the left and big government. Everything. We nominated a candidate for president, Republicans, former governor of Massachusetts, who couldn't really denounce Obamacare effectively because he was responsible for Romneycare. And his supporters kept telling us, well, it's different. He did it in a state. It's not like he nationalized it. Like, that's different. Chief executive of a state to ruin the state healthcare system? Well, he only did it in the state. I know, but that's the record we look at. Well, he wouldn't impose it on the whole country. Oh, thank God. Just the people of Massachusetts. But here we are. I'm sure the Republicans will run to the microphone, put out statements, tweet here and there, and then that'll be the end of it for 24 hours, and they won't say another thing. No, we got to get past this. We got to get this immigration reform through, because the more unskilled, illiterate foreigners we can bring into this country, the better off we'll be. What? What? Oh, yes. Social Security will be better. Oh, yeah. The entire economy will be raised. Really? Oh, yes. Trust us. We know what we're doing. We're the federal government. We're the Republicans. We know what we're... Just trust us. Remember last time we controlled Congress and the presidency? Remember all the good we did? Well, what'd you do? Well, we massively increased the debt. We refused to secure the border. That's what we did. Oh, yes, we trust you. Not.